All right, so SMCI just dropped a massive business update, and there's definitely a lot to unpack, everything from the growth to AI expansion. So we're going to dive into that this video. However, I don't want to waste your time, so I'm just going to give you the meat and potatoes of the report first. That way, if you want to stick around for a more detailed analysis of the report, you can definitely stay. But if you don't, here are the 5 main key points of this report. Okay, so point number 1, Q2 fiscal year 2025 revenue was $5.6 to $5.7 billion. That's a 54% year-over-year growth. Secondly, the fiscal year 2025 guidance was lowered from $23.5 to $25 billion, previously $26 to $30 billion. However, point number 3 is that the fiscal year 2026 target has been raised dramatically to $40 billion revenue goal. They attribute this $40 billion target to 3 main key growth factors in the AI space: the AI infrastructure, NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, and the direct liquid cooling that they use in their systems. And the last main point here is due to the legal risk. They have SEC and DOJ subpoenas due to short seller allegations, which do increase the legal risk factor. However, SMCI really says that they're mainly immaterial. SMCI is fully cooperating and denies any wrongdoing, so they're not too worried about these reports. So that was the main overview. If you want to stick around to dive a little deeper into the report and how I'm personally playing this stock in the market right now, as I still think it's a very valid opportunity, that'd be amazing. If you find value in this video, please give it a like. That's all I ask. So let's dive in. Okay, so first let's go over the actual Q2 fiscal year 2025 performance, which is what they were mainly reporting on for this business update. SMCI's revenue came in at a whopping $5.6 to $5.7 billion this quarter. That's a 54% year-over-year increase. The gross margins are stable at 11.8 to 11.9%, and the EPS has not really changed at 0.5 to 0.52 year-over-year. When it comes to cash and debt, they have $1.4 billion in cash reserves. However, they do have $1.9 billion in debt. So that's not too far off. I've definitely seen worse balance sheets than this. Now, while that revenue growth is impressive, we still have to look at the forward guidance to get a better picture of what's going on with SMCI and what their next 2 years are going to look like. Because it's not going to be just another 54% year-over-year increase this year. So here's the updated forecast. So the most important part here from the future projections of this report is essentially the full year 2025 guidance, which had to be lowered. So the revenue guidance they are providing is $23.5 to $25 billion in revenue for the entire 2025 fiscal year. The guidance previously was $26 to $30 billion in revenue for the year. So those expectations have been lowered. However, there is a big catch here because they do also state for 2026, they are expecting a $40 billion year, which truly is a massive guidance when you think about what they are projecting for 2025. They're essentially almost doubling the guidance for 2026 versus 2025, which is a really big deal. So if they actually come through with those numbers in 2026, boy, this stock is going to have a massive run. And of course, that is 2 years away, but that's some really massive guidance to be giving out. Now, this guidance is actually super important because it's actually kind of giving a lot of confidence back to investors. Essentially, SMCI is coming out and saying like, hey, I think we're really going to do freaking super well 2026. I know that's 2 years away, but whether they hit those or not, that's definitely a good sign. So what's driving this massive target? Basically, AI expansion is only going to continue to increase, and it's going to do so very rapidly. So while 2025 may also be a good year, they're saying 2026 is when things are really going to ramp up. With that being said, there's also an increased adoption of NVIDIA Blackwell chips, which they use in their systems. Additionally, they're attributing some success to the expansion of next-gen data center technology, and they highlight specifically the DLC cooling, which is direct liquid cooling. Essentially, instead of air, they're using direct liquid to cool down the servers, which makes a much more efficient process. And definitely a positive for SMCI as they can fit more servers in less space. Additionally here, one thing to note are the legal issues. They do state that in this business update. SMCI received subpoenas from both agencies, SEC and DOJ, in 2024. This was triggered by a short seller report, which we talked about in the last video. However, SMCI continues to deny any wrongdoing and any allegation, and they are actually cooperating with both of these agencies to clear their name. They're saying they have nothing to hide. And because of the delays in the SEC filing, they've also been hit with lawsuits. Management is saying that these lawsuits are bullshit and they really don't have merit. But still, lawsuits always provide uncertainty for investors, unfortunately. And finally, SMCI is also raising more capital. They issued $700 million in convertible senior notes due 2028, and they also amended its 2029 convertible notes. So this could mean two things. Either they see a strong future growth, so they need more capital, or they just need more liquidity to manage the expenses. So that's not necessarily a negative thing. It is just something to look out for, that they are raising more debt. But raising more debt does not necessarily mean a bad thing if they are really investing heavily into the business and building out the infrastructure they need to have a massive 2026, which I personally think is the case. Okay, so what does this all mean for investors? There's just a lot of AI growth. The revenue is growing massively. They have a huge target for 2026. Okay, so what's my personal take on this report and what does this mean for investors? I think this is a great stock to own for the next couple of years and see how this plays out. Given the valuation that it's sitting at right now, it's really low and they have such strong guidance for the next couple of years that it's worth it for me to be playing this and have a position in SMCI. So even though they are lowering the guidance for 2025, I really do think there's massive potential for this post 2025 like they've stated. They did post 54% year-over-year revenue growth, which signals to me that the business fundamentals are still strong. I don't think AI growth will slow down anytime soon. And the matter of fact is that SMCI is a huge player in this space. There's no question about it. There still is the legal uncertainty of the probes by the SEC and the DOJ. However, once this gets more cleared up, again, that's going to be a really bullish signal for the stock. Like I've said before, when there's uncertainty and that gets cleared up, that's only a plus. So if anything, you're getting a cheaper price for a really good stock. So in my eyes, SMCI still remains a good long-term play. However, I am going to be watching this very closely. For full transparency, I do have a position in SMCI, but however, I always recommend you guys do your own risk analysis and do your own research. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying that there definitely is some opportunity here in SMCI. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know if SMCI is still a strong buy for you. Do you think they're going to hit that $40 billion goal in 2026? Or is this just too much of a risky play and you're avoiding it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. So if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you guys gave it a like and maybe consider subscribing. I'm definitely going to be doing more videos about opportunities that I see in the market. So if you like that kind of stuff and want to hear my thoughts on opportunities and plays in the market, then definitely consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that. And yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.